All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this weekly forecast for the upcoming week, starting tomorrow on Monday, the 24th, all the way to Friday, the 28th. It's the last week of August. And after that, we turn to September. So, let's start by looking at the economic calendar first. Um, so on Monday, well, tomorrow, we don't have anything except um, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent talking. Uh, I would usually say that shouldn't impact the market that much, but with what happened last week, every time Bessent spoke, it just moved the market so much. So, um, be careful of that. It's at 2 p.m. tomorrow. Let's see what he's gonna say. But yeah, that has the potential to move the markets a lot. He's honestly probably gonna address the treasury buybacks for the government bonds. That's probably what he's going to be talking about. We'll see. Then after that, on Tuesday, we have Australian dollar CPI. So let's see here. Oh wow. Okay, that's interesting. After that, on Wednesday, we have Core PCE, GDP. So we have some USD news on Wednesday. Then Thursday, unemployment claims, and Jackson Hole starts. So I told you about Jackson Hole last week. It's an economic forum, and Kevin Warsh is going to be talking over there. But I think the main event is on Friday. That's where Kevin Warsh is scheduled to talk. So honestly, I would say Wednesday and Friday do look very interesting. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, maybe a little bit less. So let's be careful about that. But overall, we have a good economic calendar here for the week. So we should have some decent volatility. All right. Now looking at the charts, dollar. So on the weekly time frame here, well, right now we closed above this swing low, so we are sweeping it, and we closed above the 0.75 level. So it does look like we could continue higher from here, right? Because I told you I want to see price staying inside the monthly fair value gap and then start going lower. But at the same time, it does look not very likely, if I could say it like that, um, because we got such a huge expansion last week. I think this week we can just consolidate on the dollar. I think that's what's probably going to happen to create a weekly fair value gap. If you look on the daily time frame, we have this daily fair value gap right here, but I don't expect it to hold. Yes, we might get a reaction off of it. That could be tradable, by the way. We could get a reaction, but then after that, for the rest of the week, I think we're just gonna stay in the same spot and consolidate to create that weekly fair value gap. So on the dollar this week, I don't think I'm going to be doing anything unless I get proven otherwise and that price actually starts moving lower or higher considerably. But right now, I'm not expecting anything else than a consolidation. And about what I said earlier about price going higher and reaching that monthly fair value gap that's up there, I think it is unlikely. Yes, right now we are respecting the 0.75 level, and some people could say, yeah, that's a strong level. We can continue higher from there. But just look at this leg right here going lower. This is a very strong leg. I don't see how price could just start going higher like this. It just it's not likely, okay? Just keep it as a possibility at the back of your mind, but right now, I think we're never going to get the retracement back inside the monthly fair value gap. I think we're just never going to get it. And we're already going to get the lower prices that we were expecting from the start of this year. So that's it for the dollar here. Mostly a consolidation for the upcoming week. So the majors are all going to be the same, probably. AU is not interesting. GU is not interesting as well. EU, well, EU could be interesting because it's very similar to the dollar. It's just that, again, we could consolidate and create a weekly fair value gap. So I'll keep it on the interest list because we could have some short-term opportunities, like, for example, a reaction from this daily fair value gap, a tiny reaction to the upside that could be tradable, something like this. Then you can trade this move going higher, but then after that, for the rest of the week, it's going to consolidate. Okay? So, yeah, let's keep it on the interest list. But again, I think the dollar this week is not really interesting. NU, no. USD Canadian. This one was on the interest list last week. Um, I don't like it, to be honest. Nope, don't like it. USD CHF. Okay, yeah, this one has some potential, but only, and that's really important, only if the dollar wants to move higher. So if the dollar starts, let me show you here. If we start disrespecting this daily fair value gap on the dollar, then USD CHF to continue higher would be very interesting because we got a sting inside the monthly fair value gap right there. And right now it does seem like we are respecting it and the fair value area as well. So so it's about waiting for some evidence, potentially a daily fair value gap going higher or um, 2 4-hour fair value gaps going higher, which we do have right now, but it's not very clear. This one right here, I would ignore it. This first one is valid. The second one, not really. Um, so yeah, USD CHF, interesting. I'll put it on the interest list. And then USD JPY, this one is not interesting. Okay, so game plan here for the dollar this week. If I have two scenarios. If we sting back inside this daily fair value gap on the dollar and we start respecting it and we get a clean setup to continue lower, something like this, then take a long on EU. Okay, so if the dollar starts going lower, look at EU for a long. Okay, but if the dollar starts disrespecting that daily fair value gap very aggressively, and at the same time, you're seeing that we might not create that weekly fair value gap. If the dollar starts moving higher like this, then take a long on USD CHF. That would be the most interesting. Okay? So if the dollar starts going lower, EU. If it starts going higher, USD CHF. All right, now the metals. Um, so right here on gold, don't like what I'm seeing. I have to be honest with you. We did close above this swing high. Didn't reach the 0.75 level, so I think we can still reach that this week. But from there, we will have to start going lower at some point. Like the price has just, it has, oops, sorry. So what I was saying is price has gone up way too fast without really stopping, without really any retracement at all. Um, so we need to have a retracement at some point, right? And so that will potentially happen from the 0.75 level. And if the dollar starts moving higher from the 0.75 level as well, because remember there's a correlation between the US dollar and gold. So if the dollar starts moving higher from the 0.75 level, then gold will start moving lower from the 0.75 level as well. And that could be very interesting. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But right now, let's be objective. We had a very strong bullish week last week. And so right now, for Monday, for tomorrow, I'm not expecting anything else than a consolidation to create a daily fair value gap right here. And also, we have reached a major target, which is this swing high right here. And I think price is going to slow down a little bit on Monday here. So consolidation on Monday, and then we'll reassess everything on Tuesday. So I'm going to stay away from gold on Monday. You can look at the 15-minute. Yeah, it's not too clear. It's struggling to push higher right here. So we could have a bigger consolidation tomorrow. Then silver. So what we're expecting for silver, basically, is simply, I do prefer silver, by the way. I do prefer the price action because we got a sting inside this weekly fair value gap. I'm gonna remove this. It's not relevant anymore. But right now, silver is clearly going higher to sweep this swing high, this zero point 0.5 level, and from there, we will get the move lower, just like on gold from the 0.75 level. So we're just expecting higher prices, as simple as that. Now, silver is more interesting for tomorrow because we do have a daily fair value gap already. And it does seem right now that we're setting up to trade back into it. So, yeah, that could be a very interesting setup for tomorrow. Keep an eye on it. Staying back inside the daily fair value gap to then continue higher. I do like this a lot for tomorrow. Let's keep an eye on it. Then crude oil. So crude oil went higher last week, like we expected it to. It's not a big surprise, and we did close higher, well above this high right here, which is a daily swing high. Yes, daily swing high. Now the problem is that we didn't create a daily fair value gap there, so that's a little bit concerning. On the weekly, we don't have anything either. Now, what could happen this week on oil is a consolidation as well. Um, we could create a weekly fair value gap. It's possible. So right now in crude oil, I can't give you a clear bias. Like obviously, we should see some higher prices. Obviously, we're in an uptrend. The only thing is it's closer to 50-50. I wouldn't say like the bias is 90% bullish because it's not that clear. Right now, it does seem like the past 2 days, so Thursday and Friday, we are respecting that 0.25 level. We could have some lower prices to start the week. Now, we do have this daily range right here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see price go all the way back down to $84, 80, yeah, $84, potentially sweep this rejection low right there, or even reach the golden level with the fair value area right here to then start having higher prices. So right now, crude oil is not too clear. I would say take a step back. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We'll monitor it. And then in tomorrow's forecast, we'll reassess everything. Right now, Bitcoin, what is it doing? Yeah, well, Bitcoin definitely, again, it does look a lot like gold. There's this gold Bitcoin correlation right now, which is crazy. And the dollar as well. That is crazy. Well, anyways, Bitcoin, I think, yeah, consolidation throughout the week for sure. Look at this expansion. I think we gained like 15% in a single week last week, which is like, yeah, wow, that's crazy. Um, yeah, I don't like what Bitcoin is doing right now because right here on the daily you can see we have this daily fair value gap, and right now we are respecting it, so we could continue even higher than this, which is not what we want to see right now on Bitcoin. Um, but we have to keep believing. We have to keep believing that the plan is going to play out eventually. We will get some lower prices all the way down to 50K. That's what we want to see. I know it doesn't seem like it right now, but yeah, it will eventually happen. So, anyways, on Bitcoin, for this week, we have to be objective, higher prices. Right now, that's what it looks like. But things could change, so we'll reassess everything tomorrow again. I think most of the pairs right now are mostly waiting, and we'll reassess everything. But right now, it doesn't make any sense when you look at something like Bitcoin or gold or even the dollar. It doesn't make a lot of sense. The indices, so bearish week last week on the S&P. Um, this is honestly encouraging, um, because we did close lower than the fair value area, so that's a strong bearish sign. Now on the daily, don't have a daily fair value gap just yet, but this move lower seems pretty strong. So yeah, lower prices. We are respecting this 4-hour leg right now. Yeah, lower prices throughout the week on the S&P. That's very clear to me. Nasdaq, let's see. We did close inside of the fair value gap. On the daily, we are respecting that swing low at the moment, but I don't think that's going to last very long. Yeah, lower prices as well. Maybe we could get a little retracement to that daily fair value gap to then push lower. It's possible. But overall, throughout the whole week, lower prices on the indices. Yeah. Unless we get a crazy turnaround and the second weekly candle is a rejection, and we just start moving higher out of nowhere. That's a possibility as well, but it's not the most likely right now. The most likely thing for price to do right now is lower prices. But keep in mind, there's also the possibility that we can still reject from those weekly fair value gap. It's not over yet. Okay? Keep that in mind. The crosses, okay, Canadian dollar JPY. We did create a weekly fair value gap, and I think we will retrace into it. Okay, this is definitely going on the interest list. I just want to see how price is going to react to this daily fair value gap right here. Because ideally, we want to see a retracement back inside the weekly fair value gap. We want this daily fair value gap to fail and price to reach down inside the weekly to then start moving higher. Okay? So that's interesting. CHF, JPY, no. GBP, JPY, yes. Okay. It's very similar. We have this target right there. Yeah, same scenario here on GBP, JPY. Let's see if this fair value gap can fail. That's what we want to see. We want to see it fail and price to reach down inside the weekly fair value gap. Euro JPY, same thing. Okay, I'm not gonna mark, but there's a daily fair value gap here. Keep that in mind. So that's interesting as well. GBP JPY is interesting. Australian dollar JPY. Yeah, this one is a little bit less likely, but I still have a feeling that we're gonna get somewhat of a retracement. Okay, that's interesting as well. And then New Zealand dollar JPY. I don't like this one. Okay, so the JPY pairs are definitely interesting for next week. Australian dollar CHF. Yeah, nope, don't like this. Canadian dollar CHF. Mm, don't like it either. Euro CHF, no. GBP CHF, no. New Zealand CHF. I think we have a clear target on this one, and it's a quarterly fair value gap. Yeah, it's not too clear, but maybe on Monday we could have a consolidation, create that daily fair value gap. Then on Tuesday we can sting back into it to target the quarterly fair value gap. Let's put it on the interest list just to see. Okay, Canadian dollar pairs. This is a consolidation. No. Euro Canadian. No. Don't like it. GBP. That could be interesting. Once we do get the retracement back in here, the monthly fair value gap, that could be interesting. And it could happen this week as well, so let's keep an eye on it. New Zealand dollar, Canadian dollar consolidation. Don't like it. Okay. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Um, we should get some lower prices. It's just I don't like it. This is a consolidation for the past few weeks. No. Euro, New Zealand. This one is delivering. It took a long time, but it is delivering. Let's see if tomorrow we can create a daily fair value gap here. Euro, New Zealand. And GBP, New Zealand dollar. This one is not interesting. That sucks. That really sucks. It already delivered. We're basically at target. So this is not interesting anymore. But Euro, New Zealand dollar, this still has the potential. The perfect scenario, okay, and I'm going to tell you what it is that, well, this turns into a fair value area, right? Is that we create a daily fair value gap, that we get a huge consolidation tomorrow, and we create a fair value gap that overlaps with the fair value area, something like this. And then on Tuesday, we just sting back into it, and then we trade this move going lower. This is beautiful. I like it. Let's keep an eye on this. Euro, Australian dollar. Nope, don't like it. And GBP, Australian dollar. We're still waiting for a retracement, which didn't happen yet, but is gonna happen definitely this week. Yeah, it's we're really close to reaching the monthly fair value gap, the bullish monthly fair value gap, I should say. All right, guys. Well, we do have a couple crosses on the interest list, so we'll keep an eye on all of them as usual. Um, Little recap on the indices. The well, how should I say this? The highest probability thing for price to do on the indices, I think, is lower prices, okay, for the upcoming week on both, well, on all the indices. But keep in mind that we are still inside this weekly fair value gap, and the two candle rejection rules tells us that we can reject on the second candle. So we could potentially just sweep the low of last week. So let me show it to you so it's clear. We could sweep this low and continue higher from there. Something like this. It's possible, but it's not the most likely thing for price to do right now. Okay? So keep that in mind. So I think right now it's closer to 50-50. Well, I would say 60% bearish, 40% bullish. Um, but in order to have a better, more certain bias, I would wait for tomorrow's candle. Tomorrow should clear up a lot of markets because we're expecting consolidations on a lot of markets. And so tomorrow could tell us more about what we're looking for. So that's it for the indices. Then the majors on the dollar, we could have a weekly consolidation, keep that in mind. But we could also get a rejection from this daily fair value gap. So if we do get that rejection to the downside, then look at EU to take a long, okay? If we disrespect this daily fair value gap, if we disrespect it and we start going higher, then take a look at USD/CHF to continue higher, okay? So that's the plan here on the the majors and the dollar. Then on gold, we're expecting a simple consolidation, potentially creating a daily fair value gap. Gold is not interesting for tomorrow, okay? It's very important. Silver is, though. Silver is interesting to continue higher for long from this daily fair value gap. Then crude oil, it's really about waiting to see what tomorrow does, and it might give us a better idea of where we want to go next. So Bitcoin waiting, crude oil waiting. That's what I mean. Bitcoin waiting as well, because we got such a huge expansion. Right now, we can only consolidate at this point. So that's it for the forecast. Honestly, I'm a little bit concerned about what I'm seeing on, well, all the major instruments like the dollar, Bitcoin, the metals. But I have a feeling, guys, I've been telling you that since a very long time. I have a feeling that somehow, don't ask me how, but somehow the dollar is gonna skyrocket higher. Something like this. Okay? If the dollar starts moving higher and targeting the monthly fair value gap, like we've been expecting for a very long time, then gold and silver will both drop from the 75 level here on gold and finally reach this swing low that we've been expecting to reach for a very long time. Okay? Silver, it's going to be not from the 0.75 level, it's going to be from the zero point 0.5 level. We're going to start heading lower like this. That's what we've been expecting for a very long time. And Bitcoin as well. I think this is a bull trap here on Bitcoin. I think a lot of people will be buying in right here at 77, 75K. But I think it's a trap, guys. Honestly, I think it's just gonna move lower until we reach the 50K level. So I have a feeling, I'm putting this out there right now. I have a feeling that this is what we're gonna see on the dollar coming up to the midterm elections and everything. Higher prices on the dollar, lower prices on the metals, and lower prices on Bitcoin. I think that's what's gonna happen, guys. I have to put it out there. We'll see what happens. We can rewatch this video in a month, in 2 months, in 3 months from now, and see was I right or was I completely wrong. We'll see what happens. But that's it for the weekly forecast. Overall, I think it would be wise to expect some consolidations across many markets. Um, just keep that at the back of your head that we did get some massive expansions last week and that this week we could simply consolidate. Keep that in mind, but that doesn't mean that there won't be any opportunities, okay? So, yeah, that's it, guys. Trade safe this week, and I will see you in tomorrow's forecast. Thank you for listening. Ciao.